Welcome to Papa Bear Peppers, and I'm Harold, and today we're going to be planting one of my small containers in my greenhouse. So stick around and let's have some fun. As you can see there, it's 61 degrees Fahrenheit and 59% humidity. Now real quick, I got my little cheapo gauge here, but what it does do is give me a pretty close idea of what I'm looking at. And as you've seen on the other one, it said 61, and the temperatures are going to begin to rise right now. But as you can see here, this is going to start lowering, and I've already done it once to where it's pretty close to what my Thermal Pro over there shows. But what I did is I wanted to see what my temperatures are looking like in the soil. And as you can see, it's pretty good temps. It's at 65 degrees inside and climbing inside my little bins in here. These are my self-watering bins that I had produced that video on before. And now I'm going to go ahead and do some transplants. I got a couple special plants I want to do today and kind of show you how I do mine. Again, you know, like you've heard everybody, not everybody does it the same. But this has been a very successful way for me to get very good, strong, healthy plant production. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to dig my hole. Obviously, I want to make sure. Now on pepper plants, unlike tomatoes, I don't have to bury it deeper if I don't want to, but I like to be just over the level of the soil. Well, depending on what your container is, it's best just to come in and set it in here just like that and make sure that you're at the right depth. Now I want to just cover up what I have here for my soil. This first one in this bed, there's going to be two plants, and they're going to be a special one I got from Brian Seal, and it's called the Podzilla Purple Long. A very beautiful plant, and here's the other one that's going to be going into that bin with it. Gorgeous, beautiful purple flowers, and you can see where they start green and then turn purple. And as you can see here, it's already branched off down at the base. This is going to be just two magnificent plants. I got these from Brian Seal quite a few years ago. Now, in this greenhouse, again, I run thermal mass, meaning that these barrels over here are all heated, and they collect sunlight all day and heat from the sun. So the temperatures in here are just awesome right now. So I've got my hole dug that I want for my plant. I actually have already moistened this bed, and it was growing spinach before I pulled that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to fortify my soil. I want to make sure that I got plenty here. So what I'm using is a tablespoon of blood meal, and this is what I'm using. It's just your standard blood meal, Epsoma blood meal. Next, I'm going to add in your standard Epsom salt. I get this at Walmart. It's $5 a bag for this, and I'm going to tell you right now, folks, if you don't have Epsom salts in your arsenal, you need to get it, because it's one of the things that I've found will really help your plants with growing. It's I don't know, what do we call a gardener's secret weapon for fertilizer, actually. So now you've seen me bring that in, and now I'm going to bring in a secret component. First of all, I'm going to stir this around in here, just get it kind of mixed into the surrounding soil a little bit. That way the roots are brought into it. Now the last thing I'm going to bring in is something that I've been using for 2 years now. This product is from Nectar For The Gods, Oregon's only Nectar For The Gods, and these are one-shot granules. And these have a very good effect on my vegetables. And I always add a scoop right at the base, and then that's pretty much all you need to do, and as you can see, I've used quite a bit, so now what I'm going to do is come back with this, and I'm going to add just a tablespoon, and I'm going to spread this one around of my One Shot. And one thing that I really do encourage this One Shot fertilizer type. This is a very slow release fertilizer, and as you can see on the back, NPK rating, and it gives you very straightforward instructions on how to use this. And folks, let me tell you what, the folks over there, you'll never meet nicer people. No, that's not paid. I've just been working with Scott for a long time, and he's just a fantastic guy. Alright, so now I'm pulling it out of my cup, and you can see that I've already got roots extension down here from that soil mix that I showed, and you can reference to the video on how to make your own seed starting soil, and I've had really good success for it. So now you can see that I put that into there, and I'm going to just lightly water around the edge of the hole. Even though this is a bottom fed, I'm going to put a little water in there just to give it that contact, and I'm going to start feeding this soil in right along the edges, and I'm just pushing it down, firming it up. Now this garden mix that I have in here, if you're wondering, I have amended it, and I did a video on how to amend your soil so that you can reutilize. Folks, if you don't want to, you really don't have to get new soil every year, but I do highly recommend that you amend your soil, because whatever your plants took, you need to put back something into it. And even though I get this from a local company, and it's a very high grade soil, I always put back into it. What did I put back into this one? I put in alfalfa meal, and then I came back with a compost as well as my own, and also my worm castings. Plus I revitalized it and brought in a lot of vermiculite, because I am just a fan of vermiculite, and I know that perlite is there and people use it. It's my choice. I like the vermiculite. I think it's better at retaining the water. Now on containers it might be different, but these, I like these because it's almost like these containers are similar to having I guess mini raised beds for these plants, and they really thrive in here, and by the end of the season it's going to be a jungle in here, folks. So now I want to check for my next one, its brother, and see how we are in depth. And what I'm doing is checking to see, am I at the soil line? And I look pretty good right there. So I'm just gonna a little bit, just a little bit. That way I can put my blood meal in and my Epsom salts. And remember, 1 tablespoon of each. I got my blood meal, I've got my Epsom salts, and I have my One Shot. So I'm going to take a scoop of my blood meal, and I'm going to put it in the hole. I'm going to seal that one up. Now I'm going to come at it, get a scoop, 1 tablespoon of my Epsom salts, like so, and again, this is my choice, a scoop of my One Shot, which, as you can see, is a hard fertilizer. It's a very slow release, but I would like to very much ensure one thing: this is very organic. Folks, I'm telling you right now, you're not going to put a better nutrient. Very organic. Scott Ostranger is a very I've talked to him a few times, and he's all about organic plant food, and that's what you're getting when you get One Shot. There's a lot of them out there, and yes, it's not the cheapest, but I'll tell you what, I firmly believe it is one of the best. So I got that into there. I've stirred it into my soil. Now I'm going to set my plant in there. Again, another Podzilla purple long. That's what this plant is. And very good chance I'll have seeds for this. And as you can tell, if they go into the greenhouse for me, I'm going to be isolating. So I'll more than likely have seeds, and maybe once this season's over and you see those beautiful pods this thing puts out, maybe we'll do a seed giveaway. So now I want to go ahead and make sure that I'm still haven't lost my depth. And here's a better way to do it. Instead of putting your plant in there and having your root ball break up, just take this and it's like so, just to make sure that you're still good. Now I'm going to put my plant in there. I push down just a little bit, and that's going to loosen up that root ball a little bit and allow it to to me it helps them really spread out. So now again, I'm watering around it. I should also note, while they're in the greenhouse, they get special lighting too from my Spider Farmer lights, and I also have in here that I'm starting to bring in for supplemental in the areas that my Spider Farmers can't reach. I've got some Sansi lights in here, and they've been doing pretty good. I'm coming very soon as my Sansi 70 watt, which after watching a review on 7 Pot Club, I found out from Rob that it actually runs at less watts out of the wall, which is 40, I want to say it was 46 watts out of the wall. Alright folks, now that I've got these placed, I want to make sure I put my markers here because I do not want to lose what I've got. Look at these gorgeous plants in here, folks. These are the Podzilla Purple Long, especially from my good friend Brian Seal. I had gotten from him years ago. Now I'm just going to water these in a little bit. Mind you, this is a bottom watering system. You may ask, where do I water it from? It comes right into this, through this 1/4-inch tube. Down here I have a black tube. As you can see right here, this is one of my black 1/2-inch irrigation tubes. I've got an end cap there because it feeds this tank. And if you want to learn how to make these feeders, go onto my site and you can find where I've posted that on there so that you too can make your own bottom self-watering containers, actually very cheap. Alright, so those are in, and I've got these now. When I plant inside of this greenhouse, they're going to be absolutely in pairs. Now, I'm thinking that this line right here that I've got right there is going to be all very, and see, and there's a plant, but again, I've got supplemental lighting. Here's my Spider Farmer SF2000, and over here on these is my Spider Farmer SF1000, and then I've got my little Sansi 60 deformable right over there. You may ask, why do I do that? I'm in a greenhouse. Because I turn those lights on at 3 o'clock in the morning so I can extend my daylight hours. Now, I should tell you too that I've already had these plants outside and been hardening them off, so they're in really good shape right now. Now, I'd like to show you the temperatures in the soil right now one more time. What these plants are going into. 64.2 degrees in the soil. So well, here I have a piece that I've already cut to fit this particular bed. And what I did is I cut it to the edges so that it's going to come, it might be a little bit over, but I'm going to cut it roughly. And the next thing I'm going to do this time, I'm going to use my scissors. And what I need to do on this particular one is look to where my plant is, and I'm simply going to make sure you keep this above. You don't want to obviously cut your plant. That would be kind of disastrous. So cut roughly to the middle. Now I'm going to come over here and I'm going to do the same thing and cut towards the middle of the plant. Just like so. So I know it can go around, and then I'm going to put a slit to the side here. Do the same thing over here. Like so. Same thing down here. I'm cutting about 2-3 inches maybe. These plants aren't big yet. Obviously, you may need to cut bigger to get it around your plants if needed. So what I've done is I put those slits in. Now, I'm just going to fold in like so. And this is if you've already established plants. You can still put this down and just put it in just like so. Wrap it around. And I'm lifting up gently at my root ball here to cover up my, without covering up the leaves. I come in like so. Now I'm going to do this side. I lift up gently on the leaves and just kind of work it underneath like so. So that it's down at the base, but it's not covering the leaves. Okay? And you could make an X here too, the same way. It's really optional, up to you. This is just one way. Makes it real easy. I'm coming in around the base again, underneath and right to the base of the plant. And I'm going to tuck this in again. I want to make sure that I get this over. I'm going to spread this so I get it nice and kind of leveled into here. Best I can anyway. And then I'm going to come in here, tuck it in. And bring this in over so it actually overlaps on this one. Now if I feel like I need more room, I can always come in, like say I want more room on this side, just do that. If I want more room on the back side, I can come in here and gently cut back and tuck it under if I want. I like to have that area that I can still feed the plants, so just like that. That way I can make sure the leaves are free and not being held down. And you may have to pluck a couple of the lower leaves off if need be. It's alright, your plant will recover. These pepper plants are stronger than you might think they are. So there we go. Now I got that application in. Now the same thing's going to happen here. I have all that moisture retention that'll happen as well just by putting that fabric over it. So it's, you know, that's another way that you can put it in with your plants already in and generate that mulch, if you will. This is just another way to mulch. You could use whatever mulch you want. I just find that this really helps to retain heat for the root balls, and then also the moisture. So it's just a really good system. And also in all of mine I have worm castings. Well, in those worm castings a lot of worms seem to come out, so they're thriving and teeming in here as well. So this is just this whole microbial environment underneath here, and this helps to keep your soil from drying out. A little less maintenance, weed free. I'm not going to have weed issues with this, and that's one thing I really enjoy about using a system like this is I'm not going to have weeds. You can make it a nice clean appearance like this. So all you're coming in and seeing is your plants, and they're gonna love you. I'm telling you, you're gonna get really good, nice warm roots. And we all know our peppers want warm roots. And now a little pepper pouring coming from my greenhouse. The plant you're looking at here is a yellow carboruga. Look at how healthy the leaves look, and this has been planted in my special seedling seed starting mix. And look at the vibrant roots that are growing out of this one. Just perfect. Nice healthy plant with a root system to go. And here's a few more of the plants that I had prepared earlier in the day. And one more look at those awesome Podzilla purple longs. For this episode of Papa Bear Peppers. I hope you found this useful and something that you could use in your raised beds as well as your containers and possibly even in your larger gardens. While there is a lot of different types of mulch, I prefer to do this because not only will it retain the moisture into the soil, the fabric breathes, and it also retains a lot more heat at the roots, which is most peppers love to have that extra warmth. Hopefully this year you'll be able to apply it in your garden. Until next time, this is Harold with Papa Bear Peppers. Keep growing.